Hey, everybody. You may have heard by now because we announced this on social media, but on September 24th, we are doing a live show at Flappers in LA. Technically Burbank, though, right, Paige?
Yes. LA adjacent with better parking and good food.
Apparently, they have good food. Mikey's promised to eat pasta on stage.
Or
And
wings.
or wings.
Whatever you guys
Or
want.
wings.
I want wings for sure.
Or pasta-covered wings.
What about wing-covered pasta? You know what? We can workshop this later.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. But please, I've never been out that west. I'm excited about it.
You can buy tickets on Flappers' website through their calendar for the 24th in September. Or if you want to go the link directly through the link, we'll be posting it on social media because it is flapperscomedy.com/shows/the-horror-version.
I saw the URL as you were saying it, and I already added it. I already added it to our Linktree type service. So if you go to any of our social media and click on that link that we are allowed to have in our bio of social media, you'll see live show tickets is the very first thing. Just click on that. It'll take you right to it.
And we'll be periodically posting it on social media so that you can catch it and see it. So watch all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. for links to buy tickets. There are a limited amount of tickets. This is slightly bigger than live shows we've done in the past, but we do still have a limited amount. So I would recommend buying them early and making plans. Also, it is at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. We did that so that if you had to drive from out of town, you might still have time to drive back in time for Monday the next day at work.
Boom. So come see us September 24th at Flappers in LA. It's going to be awesome. And yes, Mikey will be there.
Yes.
The star.
All right, let's get into the episode. This episode brought to you by the following patrons: Jay's Pack, Sex Caliber Bones a Lot, James, Madeline, Sunzi, Vixen, Holly, Natasha, Laura, Boezy, Jeremy, Ali, Jennifer with the PH, Mr. Ragebomb, Libby, West, Dreskel, Aaron, Kristen, Tia, Taylor, Lauren, Jonathan, Kate, Isaac, and Karun. But because it's that special time of the month, we also get to shout out our You Can Get It level sponsors, and they are Jennifer, Levi, Caitlin, Kevin, Alyssa, Dharma, Grace, Stephanie, Amanda the Playwright, Leo, Alexandra, Tori, Eli, Bryce, Sean, Logan, Dominic, Jamie, Alex, Shayna, Ali, Dr. Voorhees, MD. I wonder if he's related to Dr. Satan, MD. Megan, Amelia, Maxwell, Liza, Jamie, AJ, Radioactive Spider Gwen, Rock Donkey, Irene, Naomi, Bex, Amy, Laura, Cameron, Kaylee, Casey, Daisy, Jackie, Tyson, Alisa, Mushroom Stale Fox, and Jennifer. Thank you all so much for the support. And all the patrons want you to know you're loved, you're listened to, and you're a valuable member of this awesome Horror Virgin community. And if you want to hang out with us, do so in the Facebook group where we hang out with Dr. Satan daily.
Guys, I don't know about you, but this movie had me in my seat the whole time.
Firmly in my seat.
I only counted 247 corpses, and I feel like that fucking blows.
False advertising.
Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your Horror Virgin Todd, which means I don't like scary movies, but you guys make me watch them. And this week, the listeners made us watch
House of a Thousand Corpses.
So was this the first time either of you had seen this movie?
I saw this in theaters.
Did you?
I'd seen sections of it before. I had never sat down and watched it all at once.
At the time, which was
2003.
in my freshman year of college, I think, they were like, this is a hardcore movie, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, Rob Zombie, it's going to be so extreme, blah, blah, blah. And then okay, there are two things that I dislike about Rob Zombie's style of filmmaking. I really like 31. One, I don't like Sherry Moon or whatever.
Oh, Sherry Moon Zombie. Yeah, not a fan.
Wait. Are they married?
Yeah, brother.
They are now. They were not at the time that this movie was made.
He put her in every movie he has ever done.
Can I guess which person that is?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it the sort of adult daughter of the family that is like doing the evil shit? The hitchhiker?
It's Baby Firefly, the one with the creepy laugh. Yeah, you betcha.
The one who aggressively cannot act. That's the
Yes,
one
that's
I
correct.
think. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And this man, not since the movie Star Wars have I seen transitions that take so long to scene to scene.
Oh man! At one point, I thought my video had like stopped, and I was like, "God damn it! I'm gonna have to refresh the." And no, we were just waiting for Baby Billy to get shot in the head.
I paused the movie, rewound it, and timed that scene because I was offended by its
Yes.
length. Paige,
Same.
from the point you see him aiming the gun at Walton Goggins,
Poor Baby Billy.
and it just, the camera pans up, it's 29 seconds until he pulls the trigger.
I had a whole sex in that time.
Twice, Mikey. Like, that's insane. 30 seconds, more or less.
But also, when he cuts, he doesn't just cut to a new scene. He's got to do an MTV style transition of like intro, outro.
yes, because this movie was written and directed by a music video director, more or less.
He gets better with his films, but I do
See,
feel like this.
I think this is the best one. This is for
Really?
me. This is the most enjoyable. Yeah.
Well, I don't like any of this series. I like the ones not related to this.
Sure.
Well, I
sure.
don't
sure.
like. I didn't watch the monsters, but I really liked 31, if I remember that correctly. It's where they like hunt people. It's kind of like Rob Zombie's Running Man.
That was the one that didn't get a wide release, right? That okay. Yeah.
Well, because I'm like a avant-garde kind of Rob Zombie fan.
I preferred him when he was in White Zombie.
I do think
Jake
that
said that earlier today.
That's
Oh
because
my
more
God,
human
Dad.
than human slaps. Like, White Zombie was the jam back in the day.
was he in White Zombie?
Yeah.
Mikey, he was Zombie of White Zombie.
I don't see color.
Fucking
Or the absence of it.
Okay, but I mean, I think the problem with this movie is that it feels to me like he's making a promotional video of a haunted house, and it's just like a dramatization of going through a haunted house.
That's also something Jake said earlier today.
And then Dr. Satan is the dumbest villain I've ever.
Oh.
Well, then Dragon Ball Z has a Mr. Satan, which like is his father, I guess. But like,
Yeah, because Mr. Satan couldn't afford to go to medical school, but made sure his son did.
he worked hard.
yeah.
Yes.
Training up Goku or whatever. And then
Dr. Satan, call me Doug or whatever.
and like the mythos doesn't really like make any fucking sense at all.
Nope,
And then
none.
like the sequel to this movie is a direct sequel where
Yes.
they forget all the mythos too, which also drives me crazy.
Yes, and I really dislike the sequels.
Is the next one House of 1,001 Corpses?
No, it's
No.
I forgot what it's
Devil's
called, but it's
Rejects, right? No, or is Devil's Rejects the 3? No, yeah, Devil's Rejects and then 3 from Hell, right?
3 from Hell. Yeah. The baby, the brother, and the clown go on the run. So it's like we
Yeah.
picked the 3 people, the characters that people liked, and like gave them their own movie.
I did like Captain Spaulding. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that dude was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Sid Haig, he is the best.
He's the best actor in the film.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
Yeah.
the creepiest one, I think.
Yes. And he makes it. Like, I'll get to it, but yes, Sid Haig is probably one of the only reasons this series is as famous as it is, because people are like, most of this is not great, but that guy is great.
I mean, I agree. I thought he was very funny. I mean, he is creepy. Like, he's not a good character by any
yeah.
means, but like, he's very like deadpan funny. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
But clearly, it was my first time seeing this movie too, and I don't know. It felt very much like a mashup between like first like Halloween, because you see all the like the town shots of set up at like Halloween time, and then of course like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is all over this movie.
Oh, yeah.
But I sort of. I think it's because I like Rob Zombie as an artist, if you will. Didn't sort of hate a lot of the things, like a lot of like the music video transitions. I was like, this feels very reminiscent of like my
I was kinda
era
here for it.
MTV. So like, I get it. I do understand that it's not great filmmaking
no.
though.
Is this like an Everybody Versus Me episode?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Listen, I don't think this is a great movie either.
Allow me to explain when I get to it.
Yeah. There are things I liked about it, but there are some scary elements for me. I do remember this at the time was built up as like a very terrifying movie. And it's just not as scary as like other movies we've done that are, I guess, more current. But
let's call it out. It's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff.
Mm-hmm. Or homage, depending on how you want to describe it.
Sure. Let's just say it didn't rip scenes directly from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I just feel like the special effects don't super work. The jump scares don't super work. I think that's the direction and kind of the way they did it. I think the transitions make the movie less scary. I think the soundtrack, all of it, I think does a disservice to the film.
Yeah.
And I think he's still learning. I think he gets better as he goes, but like it really feels like I'm just watching someone go through a haunted house and I'm able to like kind of laugh at it, and it feels a little over the top like a haunted house. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when Leatherface comes out and kills that guy and the kitchen door slams and then she runs away screaming, you never reach that levels of scary.
No, you
in
don't.
This film.
Absolutely not.
It shows a lot. And then when like the third act makes no sense at all.
It doesn't.
None.
The third act only makes sense if you're at a haunted house where it's like Dr. Satan used to live here and we buried him down. And then you go through the house. It's like, oh, now we're underneath the house in Dr. Satan's lair. And then we escape. And it's like, well, that was a fun haunted house.
It's like if you go down one more floor, it's just Thomas S. Pumpkins.
David S. Pumpkins.
Whatever.
Thomas Pumpkins was his father.
And he couldn't afford to go to medical school, but he made sure David went to medical school. Sorry.
Well, he was
That's
actually a pumpkin farmer. It's part of the backstory.
So, Paige, what did you think about it?
Okay. So here's my thing. I love old carny shit. I love haunted houses. I love the griminess of it. The whole texture of this movie, I am here for aggressively.
Yeah.
In fact, I was like watching this today, and for the first 45 minutes, I was like, I don't remember why I didn't like this movie, because I'm actually really loving this movie today.
Yeah.
I'm having a great ass time because Sid Haig is fucking amazing.
He's so good. And he's all over the first 45 minutes of it,
All
man.
over the first 45 minutes. And the first 45 minutes, I was like, this has more of a story than I remember.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's kids and they're on a thing and they're trying to do like a guidebook. And I was like, all this makes sense. All of this is a real story.
Yeah.
This is great. Because my biggest Rob Zombie complaint, especially for the sequels, is that there's no fucking story and it's just like upsetting imagery and gore for gore's sake most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like not super into it. So at like 45 minutes, I was like, have I just like not seen? Like, because I'm remembering and I'm like trying to figure it out. Then they get to the house and literally it's very clear that for the next 50 minutes, it's just running, screaming, and things that make no sense.
Yeah.
So like half of this movie is fucking great, and the other half makes no goddamn sense and is edited like by someone who I think was falling asleep on the editing board or something.
Or just used to do pop-up video.
Or just used to do pop-up video.
Yeah.
Now, there's also some things that I'm like, okay, that's very clearly an homage to a specific shot in a different horror movie that I like recognize. And I'm like, that's really cool. But then it's like she's running and the Dr. Satan thing. And I'm like, what the fuck is Bane doing in this movie? Like, what is that? It makes no fucking sense. It's just madness. And for me, the thing that I walk away from this movie, because of the three of this like trilogy, it is my favorite. But I walk away thinking like Rob Zombie is so good at creating ambiance and creating weird, interesting characters. He needs somebody to just like take the script from his hands and write and make sure there's a story and then hand it back. Cause like that's where it goes wrong. And we'll cover in fun facts that like they did not have a lot of cohesive planning for this film, and a lot of stuff gets changed and added or removed in editing, and that's how we get the version that we have today.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where like even watching this today in the half that makes no sense, I get why people saw this and were like, let Rob Zombie make a ton of movies. Like, I understand that, even though I don't love what comes out.
Especially for the movies at the time. Like, the low-ish budget horror movies at the time were way worse than this. At least some of the ones that we've done of this time. Like, they're all...
They're different. I would say this takes risks in a way that movies at the time really didn't. And so I do kind of respect it. Now, I do think that he leans into the parts of this movie that I don't like for most of the rest of his career.
Fair enough.
And that's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not my chosen horror genre. I don't go back to the Rob Zombie well often.
I mean, this is the first one we've ever done.
It is.
Yeah.
We'll get to his Halloweens,
Sure.
I don't mind his Halloweens. I mean, they retcon the story, but like I think they're decent movies.
They reimagine it, and at least that's, at least you don't know what's going to happen, which I like,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so for me, I actually was like, for 45 minutes, like, oh man, I'm gonna have to eat all my words. And then the next 15 minutes happened. I was like, no, I'm not. It's fine.
The first 45 minutes are pretty great, though. Like, I really
They're
do
awesome.
love. Until Dwight Schrute dies, I'm like on board for everything in this movie.
Even then, I'm kind of on board because then it started to have X vibes, and I fucking love X,
Yeah,
right?
man, because it's gonna give it to you.
Gonna give it to you.
You love Twitter?
No.
Topical humor.
I read the news.
But that same kind of like grimy, sexy, scary, confused, like that kind of thing. And I feel like X in a way is a spiritual sequel or a spiritual Texas Chainsaw movie, if you want to think of it that way, in that it is in Texas. It's got the same vibe, same time, very much inspired by that.
I agree,
I
for
think
sure.
this is too in its own way. The same way I think that if you look at Steve McQueen movies, you could say that both Drive with Ryan Gosling and Baby Driver are spiritual sequels to them, but are still very different movies.
Fuck, I love Drive. Is that a rom-com? Can we do that on Romancing the Pod? Like, they fall in love, right?
No, he's a sociopath that gets too close to her and her child.
I love that movie.
It's Ryan Gosling. He's fucking gorgeous.
Oof, goof.
I know he's just Ken, but like, oof.
He's Knuff, Paige.
He's Knuff.
Go see the Barbie movie. It's for some reason the best movie I've seen this year, and that blows my mind.
It is a surrealist masterpiece that is not for children.
No, it's not.
Which I loved because there was a bunch of children in the screening we saw, and I was like,
Same.
enjoy explaining fourth wave feminism to those children.
And what a gynecologist is.
And what a gynecologist is. They've met one. It's fine.
On their first day, they met one, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's where I'm at, where the first 45 minutes, tons of promise, super here for it, very excited. Last 50 minutes, aw, they let Sherry Moon talk more.
Oof. I knew immediately when you said he married someone in this movie who it was.
They were dating. Well, they were dating when he made it, and that's how she got the part.
Yeah.
But she has gone on to do a handful of other things, not a ton. We'll talk about it in Fun Facts. But primarily, she's only in her husband's films.
I find that so easy to believe, Paige.
I bet.
So do you guys want to go through this movie scene by scene?
Sure. We open on Dr. Wolfenstein's Creature Feature Show, which this is the part of this movie I fucking love.
Yeah, I like this part.
Is like this cold open where it's like a Halloween Eve movie marathon, and then we get an ad for Captain Spaulding's with blood, violence, freaks of nature. It's basically like a roadside freak museum. Love it.
/ gas station.
/ gas station
It's
that
great.
has fried chicken. Like, it's everything you want. This is where I would die because I would absolutely stop there.
I would stop there too. Like, this place looks kitschy and dope as shit. Do you guys think that chicken was people?
No, I think it was actually chicken because you see him eat a drumstick.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to fake fried chicken to be people.
Yeah, I think if you were like pulled pork, but it's people, then yeah, sure.
Okay.
No, I think he's just got a passion for fried chicken, and he hands it out for free. I'm like,
He does. It comes with the tour.
Yeah.
Like, don't sell yourself short, Captain Spaulding. Your tour is worth it.
Well, we don't know how much the tour was.
that's
Fair.
true. We don't know how much the tour was. Although that tour, I do love that the guy just pushes the cart the whole time.
I thought that was
but
great.
I love all of it. Anyway, we find out that it's October 30th, 1977, and we do get a lot of R bombs dropped in this first scene, but it is supposed to be 1977, but that's still not great.
I think people were dropping R-bombs in 2003 pretty regularly when this movie came out. Like that,
Yeah.
that is something that people would say like back when I was in high school all the time.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that was still the diagnosis at that time.
At the time, the medical diagnosis, yeah. We get a conversation between him and a patron who's gonna use the bathroom in just a second, but it's very reminiscent of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of talk. Like Jake said of this movie that this is Rob Zombie's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Him and I have very similar opinions on this.
I feel like nothing has been more accurate, especially because Chop Top is in this movie.
Wait, the guy who played Chop Top is in this movie?
Yes, that's Otis.
What? Oh my God. I didn't know that was Chop Top. Amazing. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right? See, like, stuff like that, I'm like, this movie kind of, okay. I'm here for it a little bit until the end. Anyway, he goes into the bathroom, leaving Captain Spaulding alone. Two guys come in to rob the place, but they are locals and they, recognize them. Something that got cut out, oddly enough, though, a scene where he presses a panic button under the counter to call his other guy in. Because essentially one of the other employees bursts in and shoots one of the robbers, and that gives Captain Spaulding the chance to get the gun. He shoots the other one, and they just fucking murder these dudes. Like, it's fucking nothing.
It is sort of self-defense, though, because they are, robbing the store. Like, I, honestly, if you don't see Captain Spaulding at the end with the bad people, I thought
you assume he's a good guy.
I know. I thought he was just like this kitschy sort of interesting roadside attraction purveyor. I was super into it.
Yeah. I do love in this scene where the guy's like, hand over the money or I'll shoot you. And he's just like, fuck your mama. Fuck your sister.
Yeah.
Fuck your grandma. I was just like, hell yeah.
I've really loved Sid's energy this entire time.
I know. He's so good in it.
Yeah.
And he's mad that they got blood all over his best clown suit. Smash cut to credits. And I was like, that's one of the best cold opens I've ever seen.
I know. It is so good. Because nothing really scary has happened yet.
Yeah,
it's just
nothing.
setting up these silly characters that I was like, hell yeah, I want to play in this world with this Captain Spaulding. Let's do that. And then when he leaves the movie, and it does get scarier when he leaves the movie because, we're following the murder of the people. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy this as much. But I guess I should be saying that because I don't like the scary parts.
But I also don't as well, because in some ways these early scenes set up a type of movie that you really want.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie can't deliver on that. And that's kind of tough.
Yeah, but I'll admit that the lane that I like that they're setting up is the horror comedy lane. That's where I'm most comfortable because I don't like jump scary stuff, so.
Or at least a more TCM2 grindhouse lane.
Yes.
Because the lane that this takes is really more of a traditional grindhouse lane. And in that, it is very successful in emulating that. And I do think it's really interesting. Some of the portions that they shot on 16 millimeter, really look like it too.
Yeah.
So there's some parts of that I'm like, there are cool things they did with camera and editing. And even though I'm not loving this movie, I can respect the commitment to the art and the homage in that. But it made me wish for a TCM2 style movie with Captain Spaulding.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, man.
Right?
I would watch anything Captain Spaulding was in. Love it. Love that character.
I mean, because maybe we have to do the next two. I don't think you're going to like him. But
no, I don't think you're going to like him
he's
either.
in him. Yeah.
I do say out of the trilogy, this is the best one.
This is the best out of the trilogy, yeah.
I mean, it's my favorite so far, but it's the only one I've seen, so.
It might be worth it just to see the evolution of Captain Spaulding. Anyway, so they go about hiding the bodies.
I love when we get to see Captain Spaulding mopping up blood with clown shoes on.
Yes, with clown shoes and a shirt that on the back said, if I wanted to listen to an asshole, I'd fart.
Yeah.
His shirt game in this movie.
Yeah.
The one that says pigs is beautiful. I feel like I need that shirt. And I looked online and found a handful of people making knockoffs of it, but I will find a good pigs is beautiful shirt that I will cut into a crop top and you cannot stop me. Anyway, we cut to a bunch of teenagers in a car and they are looking at the Manson chicks in a magazine because this is 1977, which means the trial was concluding.
Yeah. And it's Chris Hardwick and Dwight from The Office. So
yeah, Rainn Wilson.
Yeah. And you don't see their girlfriends at all in this scene, but apparently they are asleep behind them in the in the back seat of the car, but they're fully not even in the scene. But it is Chris looking through the magazine that's profiling the quote, women of Charlie Manson or whatever. And he's like, man, they're super hot or whatever. It's like, of course they were. Like that's...
Well, yeah, that was the thing with Manson is he would specifically use good looking women to lure people in or sell them drugs or make money. It's a whole thing.
Or give them drugs to have them do crazy shit.
Yep. And I do think it's interesting, though, that they bring up Squeaky because Squeaky actually doesn't go to prison with the whole group of them because she was not there for any of the murders. She was back at Spawn Ranch. She wasn't there for the Tate LaBianca murders. She is present for a few other murders in Stockton and Sonoma County with the Aryan Brotherhood. But then also she attempted to shoot Gerald Ford, but also attempted to contact Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, But here's something kind of fun is that she was sentenced to time in the Federal Correction Institution in Dublin, California, which is near where I lived for a significant portion of time in my teen years. But eventually she ends up in Texas, where she was until she was released on parole in 2009.
Okay.
Anyway, that's who they're talking about in the car. Briefly, he says that that's who Rainn Wilson would be with. He is actually looking at a photo of, there's a famous photo of like the three of them, Patty Krenwinkel and Leslie Van Houten and one of the other girls. And he's actually looking at Leslie, who just got released.
So she was like recently in the news, Mikey.
Yeah. Anyway, they're looking at the Manson chicks, but it seems like they might be running out of gas because Chris Hardwick was supposed to put gas in the car and he only put $2 to $3 in, which in 1977...
Is that Chris Hardwick?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've said that twice already on this episode.
Yeah.
When you say it 3 times, I appear.
But I was like, what's $2 to $3 worth of gas in the 70s? That has to be close to a full tank, right?
I bet only like 5 or 6 gallons.
Hold on. 62 cents per gallon. So
that would be a little bit less than 6 gallons is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so.
And in a car that was made in the 70s, that would probably get you 7-8 miles tops. Like those things were tanks.
That is true.
But they're like fighting over that in the car because Dwight's like, why didn't you fill it up? And Chris Hardwick is like, because I haven't started the Nerdist Network and I'm poor, so I can't afford it or whatever.
Right. This is his like singled out days.
Yes,
or whatever it was on MTV.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they see a billboard for Captain Spaulding, fried chicken, gasoline. If you lived here, you'd be home by now. So they're going to stop.
Yeah.
So they pull up and they see that it's like a haunted house thing. So he sends Chris Hardwick in to check it out. And he runs in and immediately runs back out and is just like, wake up, everybody. Like,
yeah.
There's a fucking haunted house. We got to fucking go.
There's a haunted house at a gas station in the desert, ? We're going to this.
Oh, he is all of us.
This is actually like Texas Massacre 3. This is Desert Forest. I don't know if you guys noticed in this film, but we hop very well between the Desert Forest.
Yes, that is true, actually. But this, you know how normally when we watch like Wrong Turn or stuff and we're like, we would never, this is not how we would die.
This is my Venus flytrap.
Aggressively, this is how we would die.
No, I wouldn't pick up a hitchhiker like that.
I would never pick up a hitchhiker, but they would have shot our tire anyway.
No, she means Captain Spaulding's establishment.
Yeah. They would have shot our tire anyway, so like it doesn't matter. We'd be toast.
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
Entering this establishment, yes.
Yeah.
Fried chicken and ghosts? Like, count me in. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And it's cheaper than the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney. Let's go.
Are these tickets expensive or is your dollar stretching? Sorry, that was a Haunted Mansion expensive ass Disneyland joke.
I also think they were pretty rude and we wouldn't have been rude, so I don't know if they would have killed us.
I don't think they were trying to be rude because I do think Captain Spaulding kind of fakes him out with like, oh, you're just here to laugh at us. And he's like, no, I am actually interested. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and he does explain like, hey, no, we're actually like writing a book. Like we didn't realize that like we hit fucking pay dirt when we pulled over for gas, but like we're writing a book about things exactly like this.
Right. And so they look around, they go on his ride, which is wild.
It's great. It's like just setting up all the serial killers or like well-known serial killers. So it's like it's like a haunted house display for like Albert Fish and Lizzie Borden and Ed Gein. And then it's all to set up like that they have a local one called Dr. Satan.
Which I've got to say, is kind of a name that's so dumb it comes back around to being funny.
I loved it.
I think it's funny. I don't think it's scary.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not scary at all.
Exactly. Up to this point, like I was like, holy shit, this is like a horror comedy sort of. And when he said Dr. Satan, I literally was like, haha, cool. Like it's like that kind of like middle school energy that I was like super
it's like
here
an
for.
8th grader naming a band.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely. Why Dr. Satan? Because it's better than a Mr. Satan idiot. It's like that kind of energy.
My homecoming / senior banquet date, my senior year of high school, was in a band that was named, I can't pronounce it, but it was the heaviest metal on the periodic table. And I was like, that's both the nerdiest and the best
dumb.
shit ever.
I love it.
I love it too. I'm like, hey, I can't fault you. That's fucking hilarious.
I honestly, if I was friends with that person, every 3 years I would set a calendar reminder to like ask him, hey, what's the heaviest ska element? And then what's the heaviest jazz element?
The sax.
I don't know. Ska's really heavy. That's why it's really hard to pick it up. Yes.
Well, yeah, it is really heavy because it's the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones.
When will you be able to move it? Someday, I suppose.
Welcome to a musical genre I know about, I guess.
Mikey actually does.
I am a little scared with how deep your ska references go.
I mean, 2003 was like pretty high ska times for me.
It was peak ska.
It was like that summer was ska summer, and then I don't even know if it was 2003. It may have been before that, but like there
It
was a
before
definite
that. It was like
peak.
third wave ska.
Yeah, like there was definitely a peak, like when we were children, where ska was like a thing.
Oh yeah.
Like Cake had Fashion Nugget, and everyone lost their minds.
Cake. I love Cake.
Yeah,
The band's
and the
not
bad
food.
either. Yeah.
Anyway, so they decide that they're going to go on the ride after they see Sid Haig's amazing John Wayne tattoo and hilarious John Wayne impression. Big fan.
Big fan of John Wayne or Captain Spaulding?
No, the impression.
Yeah.
John Wayne's fine, I guess, but it's more the impression because it's a whose line is it anyway level John Wayne impression.
It is.
I was just like, how you doing, partner? And he just like, he moves his arm like he's Danny Tamborelli on Pete and Pete trying to make Petunia dance. And
I love that reference.
I realized that you might be too poor for that joke.
I don't get the joke, but I saw this movie, so I know what you're talking about.
There you go.
Never watched Pete and Pete?
No, because it was on Nickelodeon and you couldn't afford Nickelodeon.
Okay, I was a child. I couldn't afford anything.
I
You
know.
got a job. God.
I will say Pete and Pete surprisingly holds up. It is worth a rewatch.
You've mentioned that, yeah.
Pete and Pete's fucking rad. My dad used to watch it with us.
Nice.
Like that's
It's
how
still-
good of a kid's show it was.
And Paige, I'm glad you're bringing this up because we are now announcing our new podcast, the Pete and Pete Virgin, featuring Todd, Paige, Mikey, and Paige's dad,
Yeah.
where we rewatch all of the Pete and Pete's.
Plus special guest Artie, strongest man in the world.
In the world.
You would have gotten that if you'd
Yeah,
watched
you
Pete and
don't.
Pete.
Yeah, I would have gotten that if I didn't grow up very poor.
So did the kids on Pete and Pete. It's about two like suburbs kids that are not super rich and not super popular, and they have to just kind of navigate high school. It's great. Or middle school, I guess, probably. Anyway, they decide to go on the ride with Captain Spaulding, which is literally them just like sitting in a golf cart, like the bottom part of a golf cart that a guy pushes.
It's beautiful. I love every second of it.
It's so great. It's all the murderers. Love it. I do like that he was like Ed Gein, who liked playing with their sexual organs.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was wild that they went with Albert Fish instead of other serial killers, but I think it's because of the nature of Albert Fish's crimes.
Yeah.
Where he used to shove pins in his genitals. Like when they killed him, they found like 50 pins in his dick. He's a terrifying man.
Well, and he also killed children. Like he is an especially insane serial killer.
Well, that's where he gets the name, penis. he put them in his penis.
He means like pins, but penises. So
It's spelled the same.
Dr. Satan is the one that they end on.
Where do you think he went to medical school?
Medical school, Arizona State, home of the Sun Devils.
Your second year resident tonight is Dr. Satan. He's on call. I don't know if I want that resident for me.
He's just making his rounds with a pitchfork like, you been good? How's it going?
We'll make a bargain for your ER bill. Yeah.
I'll see you on my way back around.
Like, I didn't see a medical degree. I think, okay, people out there, listeners, you're going to take this the wrong way. I definitely think he was a PhD and not an MD. And I'm just going to throw it out there.
No, Mikey, I'm going to go MD because I'm going to say that he's just like, oof, residency, 7th circle of hell, am I right? Yeah, like every year is a circle.
I definitely think he was a religious studies PhD who got into like, cutting people
He's like,
up
I can
on the
slice
side.
a brain. God says I can.
Exactly.
I gave a guy a fly mouth. Isn't that cool? Dr. Satan.
Ugh, that was really gross.
What, is that gross? Everybody has a butthole page.
Yeah, where my butt is, not where my mouth is.
What is a butt if not a reverse mouth?
Yeah.
Well, things come out of it. I don't put a lot of food into it.
You don't put a lot of food into it? What food are you putting into your butt, Paige?
Anal beans.
Anal beans? Mikey? Gotta take them out of the pod first.
No. Oh, God.
Do you guys have any Dukamame?
Poopamame?
I said Dukamame, but Poopamame works too.
Like edamame. I don't like it. Anyway, no one's ever found Dr. Satan. Did they check hell or the University of Arizona?
Well, what a coincidence. They buried him underneath the tree they hung him at in a giant mine made of styrofoam.
Yeah. No one ever bothers to look there, but Dr. Satan's always right where you left.
Dr. Satan was buried in the legends of the Hidden Temple.
You've got to climb through to the shrine of the silver monkey, then down the ledge through the Oh, this is also Todd is lost. I'm sorry.
Because I grew up in Orlando, I had friends who were on that show.
Oh, yeah.
So I know a
that's
little
right.
bit about it, but I never actually watched the show unless one of my friends were in it. And then we had a viewing party at their house where
That was
we
one of my
could
favorite
watch
shows.
it. I grew up pretty poor, guys.
So
Ugh.
they buried him near Olmec. We'll find out later. Anyway, so he ends it with like, maybe he lives next door to you. And the girls are like, nah, we live in a house.
Oh, so you don't have neighbors at your house?
Hi, it's me, Dr. Satan, your neighbor. I just brought over this apple pie. I can see that you're new to the neighborhood,
I'm a gynecologist.
which is definitely an MD, not just a PhD. I've got a certificate on my wall and everything.
How is he related to the rest of the family? I don't know. I got lost.
I don't think he
I don't
is.
think he is related. I think they hung him in that tree.
Or I think maybe they serve him like some sort of, like they worship Dr. Satan.
I mean, who wouldn't? His name's Dr. Satan, Paige.
Just because he's rich?
Every time we say it, it reminds because he's a doctor. Every time we say it, it reminds me of the Workaholics Juggalo episode where there's a guy named Dr. Nedden. And that's all I think about every time we say Dr. Satan. Oh, man.
Dr. Satan! There's no way Motley Crue doesn't have an unreleased song called Dr. Satan. Like, there's no way.
He's the one who's going to make you feel hell. He's the one who's going to make you burn right. Yeah, exactly.
We have to write that whole song at some point, Paige.
I feel like he's a rejected member of the band Ghost, where it's like Papa Emeritus and Dr. Satan.
Didn't he replace Buckethead in Guns N' Roses like around this time?
I don't. He's the one member of Slipknot that doesn't wear a mask. Dr. Satan, have you been injured in an accident? Come see me, Dr. Satan.
I'm a doctor of lawyering.
I'm a lawyer and also a doctor and also the Prince of Lies. Come to me. Call 666-66-666.
I'm actually named Satan, so
Dr. Satan.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Satin.
this house is my mattress store.
I'm Dr. Satin, and I've been a fashion designer for years. And I really resent you implying that I'm some sort of devil demon person, unless that's what the fall collection is serving. Yeah.
I loved that name though. Like I really did like giggle to myself when I heard it.
It definitely smacks of insert scary name here in the script. And then they got to the end. They're like, oh, shit, we forgot to name the guy.
What did we say on the day? Oh, fuck. We said Dr. Satan. Son of a bitch.
Well, there is a fun fact that says that they did not name Dr. Satan until much further into production than you would think. So
what was the first pass at Dr. Satan? Mr. Satan?
Mean penis head?
I like the idea that it was like Rob Zombie throwing out ideas to a few people, and he was like, what about like Mr. Satan? And his buddy was like, why not make him a doctor?
Make him a Dr. Satan. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah.
He started this just by treating GERD, so I don't know what happened.
Because it's heartburn. Fuck. So fucking stupid.
You saw when she took his Bane mask off, it was just stomach acid. Like, that man he shouldn't eat tomatoes.
You were born in the marinara. I merely adopted it. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so they're like, cool, thanks for the fun tour. Thanks for telling us all about Dr. Satan and his fun tree. And leave it to Chris Hardwick.
Yeah. But of course, Chris Hardwick and Dwight are like, no, we got to go see that tree.
We got to go see that fucking Satan tree, man.
And this is where us would be like, no, let's just go back on the highway.
I might want to see the tree. I might get us killed. I'm so sorry.
I would not want to see the tree, but I would definitely just do whatever Paige wanted and then bitch at Paige right before we died.
Yeah.
I would definitely be like, this is your fault.
This is all your fault.
Because
You
that
made
kind
an appointment
of petty.
with Dr. Satan, and now it's time for the copay.
The copay.
And the copay is your soul.
And the copay is your soul. That's so great.
He's not a real doctor. He's a podiatrist.
That is a real doctor.
Why do you think podiatrists aren't doctors?
Because they don't
Yeah.
go to medical school. They go to podiatry school.
That is medical school, dude. Podiatrists are foot doctors.
All doctors are foot doctors, but not all podiatrists are other parts of the body doctors. I just will let you guys
They
marinate
have
on
to do
that.
rounds. What are you talking about? The podiatrists are absolutely doctors.
No, they go to a separate school.
Yeah, to focus on feet.
Bro.
So do surgeons and
Feet
shit.
are-
Like,
yes, but that's a difference. Lungs are like an organ, and you have to go to full medical school.
your feet help you walk and have tons of bones in them.
Like 30.
Yeah, like a lot.
I think it's interesting that you don't think podiatry is like a medical
That's
profession.
so fucking strange. I don't even know where to like contextualize that, but it's high your deductible. Dr. Satan. Anyway, so he draws them directions to this haunted tree, and they're like, cool, we'll go, even though it's pouring down rain. They get lost, obviously. But as they're getting close to where they think they should be, they see a hitchhiker. But as they're driving, or I guess before they get in the car, one of them calls her dad. So this is where we get the shot back home, the very Halloween-esque.
Yes. That's at Captain Spaulding's. You're right. Yeah.
Right. And so she's like, we're going to be a little bit late. We had to get gas and we're behind schedule, but it's fine. But this is also on the radio where we hear that there's been a series of cheerleaders from Ruxville who have disappeared.
Yeah.
4 days ago. Anyway, they get in the car. They're driving. They see a hitchhiker. Don't pick them up.
No.
Like, why?
I did think it was funny that like the girls in the back were like, if you're going to stop and pick her up, she sits with you guys up front.
Yeah,
She's
have fun.
not sitting back here with us.
Mm-mm.
I would not pick up a hitchhiker.
Me either.
I've done it once in high school, and afterwards I was like, I could have died. That was dumb. Let's never do that again. I mean, he was like, can you take me to the gas station? My motorcycle broke down. And he had a motorcycle right there.
Oh, that's a little bit different.
Well, yeah, but he was still a hitchhiker. You know what I'm saying? I still felt danger.
Yeah, never pick up a hitchhiker. Like, holy shit, it's so fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't hitchhike and don't pick up those who do.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I don't trust anybody who walks long ways.
Especially not from Colorado to Louisiana. I know that's romancing the pod, but whatever.
It's also an episode from like 3 years ago. That's the lucky one. I think that's episode 5.
good.
And you're the lucky one for us making that joke again tonight.
Go revisit that batshit insane episode.
Yeah, a guy pulls a gun in just like a crowded
In a
like
farmer's
street.
market.
A farmer's market.
And it's a rom-com.
Yeah, such a crazy movie.
I love that
Anyway.
movie.
So it's Sherry Moon Zombie Sherry
course it
Moon
is.
Zombie has loudly and obnoxiously entered the chat.
She's like, you can call me baby.
You call me baby.
God. Her laugh is so fake. Like it's just everyone around her is a good actor and she's not. So she sticks out so badly.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to some B-roll footage of her shot on 16 millimeter where she's like, there is no wrong. If someone needs to be killed, you kill him. That's the way. And she's just like swinging a machete around. And I was like, oh,
She was naked too. Not that that's important.
Not in this one. That's the next one. And
Okay.
I will touch on it because a bunch of that got cut out to get it releasable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is where Bearsuit with a gun enters the chat and shoots out one of their tires.
Yes.
And so the car comes to a stop. They didn't fill up the spare. Or he did, but he left it at Captain Spaulding's. Oopsie daisies.
I don't understand how you could leave a spare tire. Like, why would you take it out?
I mean, he took it out to refill it. Depending on where your spare is, you might have to like take it out to refill it, I guess. But
That would be terrible to have to literally to fill up your car. You have to remove the spare tire every time.
No. He needed to fill up the spare tire with air.
That's even dumber. Like he took it out to fill it up and then at the end of that didn't put it back in the car.
Mm-hmm.
God, Chris Hardwick is an idiot. Ask Chloe Dykstra. Sorry.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was like, are we gonna tiptoe around
Probably
what we say
but
about
yeah,
him?
I mean, allegedly, but look into it. Like Google it.
Oh, yeah, for
There's
sure.
a reason they had to rebrand Nerdist ID 10T.
Yeah. Anyway, so he didn't put the spare back in the truck. Now, here's the thing. We don't identify when he did that. It could have been at Captain Spaulding's. It could have been before.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I almost envisioned this as he went to fill up the spare and then packed all their luggage and forgot to put the spare in first.
I guess that makes sense because typically it would sit below the luggage, like under like a cardboard thing, you know.
Yeah, depending on what kind of car. Anyway.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anywho, so they are stuck, and this predates AAA and cell phones. So at this point, Sherry Moon is like, well, I could just walk to my house from here. And I was like, then bitch, why did we pick you up?
We don't quite know how far they've gone since they picked her up, but she's only there, I think, to direct them to her house, right?
Right. And she's like, my brother's got a tow truck. He'll just come out and get you.
Yeah. This is like the family's version of fishing.
Yes, flirty fishing.
Oh,
Wink.
hello.
Wink.
Well, someone
Wink.
should have reported this as a phishing attempt.
PHISHING, Mikey.
This isn't from Amazon. Yeah. Your package is undeliverable. Why are they texting me?
I guess I'll just put in all of my bank information. It's fine. This
You want my mother's maiden name? Maiden name is Satan. Father's name is Dr. Satan
of the West Hampton Satans.
of the Manhattan Satins. So Rainn Wilson and Sherry Moon Zombie get out to walk to her house, leaving everyone else at the car. And everyone else in the car is kind of like, did you hear that? Oh God, it's the tow truck guy. But it's impossibly fast because like Rainn Wilson and Sherry Moon Zombie literally just arrive at the house and he's like, oh cool, you're going to get your brother? And she's like, he already left. I cut off doll heads and nailed them to the walls. And you're just like, oh no, this went wrong.
It makes so much sense that they're married, though. Like, I get it. But we know why the tow truck
she's
driver
hot.
is there. Yes, Mikey. Yes.
No, because she giggles through the bitches and digs through the ditches and nails all the heads to her.
Sherry Moon!
Oh God, I wrecked my.
It's hard to sing like that,
It's
man.
hard.
Yeah.
I was doing that impression earlier
Oh,
to like
fuck.
prepare for this, and it really hurt my throat.
Yeah.
That actually hurt really bad. Can I go get some water?
Yeah.
Because
I'll be right back.
dead girl I'm in love with. I don't think Zombie's his real name.
I don't think you're allowed to just change your name to something that would be like gimmicky and catchy, though, Mikey. I don't think that's allowed.
Like Dr. Satan?
Paging Dr. Satan. Code blue, Dr. Satan to the operating room, please.
I'm a podiatrist.
I can't get into this with you right now. We'll spend the entire episode on it. Podiatrists are doctors. They work in fucking hospitals.
I'm not even mad. I just want to know why he thinks that.
I'm just confused.
I don't even know if I think that, but I think it's a great population to pick on because they're very good at feeling defeated.
Paige is up. Paige is walking out of the room right now, Mikey.
I want that left in. Do you know what you call an in-shape podiatrist?
What?
Athlete's foot.
It doesn't even fucking make sense.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Mikey, what do you call a pregnant podiatrist?
What do you call?
A fetus. Nailed it. Thank you. Thank you. We need to get back into the episode because it's like, it's getting to be that late night recording territory where things get weird.
We're
like halfway through the movie. We're like making good time. I will say we're making time.
We're making good time. We're quick, efficient, and we have good bedside manner like Dr. Satan.
I'm not going to tiptoe around this podiatry issue, okay?
I can't stand with you on this podiatry hill you hiked up and insist on dying on.
Don't bone spur me.
That isn't even a thing. Like, what is that based on? How is that a pun?
A toast to the rest of this episode. We're not going to talk about podiatry anymore.
Oh my God.
Toe fungus. Joke about toe fungus, insert here.
Are you going to record it later and send it to me? And now I have to find this spot to drop it in?
Now we have to name the toe fungus. I'm thinking Dr. Satan. I don't remember. This is future page. Insert Dr.
Stop inserting things.
Satan,
I have to drop it later.
Something with a foot. Satan. Foot Satan.
Do you know the problem I had with Baby's performance?
What?
She had a tough time acting. Boom!
God damn it, I hate you.
This is my career.
You're a podiatrist?
Yeah, that's my day job. I tried to get a leg up in the industry, but I could only get a
they
foot.
Don't treat legs, Paige.
Yeah.
That's why I said I could only get a foot.
They're like Mormon doctors. Anything above the ankle is indecent.
What?
Actually, as a former Mormon, he's right.
Well, this is like when he thought Quakers and Amish people were the same the other day.
And you know what? He still does.
Yeah.
That's thought past tense. This is accurate current thought.
They're going to be bugged on their buggy, whatever.
Anyway, we cut to Otis wandering around ranting in this movie. Like, just ranting, and we reveal that it's to the cheerleader. So we're just like, I don't know what he wants. And he's like, I have to break free from this culture of technological. I was like, none of this makes any sense.
I know, right?
This is just word salad.
I think it was supposed to be scary, but I did not take it as such.
It's scary like Alex Jones is scary. You're like, this is probably like a dangerous thing for a lot of people to hear, but like I'm not actually scared of Alex Jones, like physically, if that makes sense.
I mean, he does own a tank, but it was really weird when he was talking to the cheerleaders and he was just like, I have to break free from this culture of nonsense. Tactical bath. Please order your bags today.
Welcome back to House of Corpses on 1000 AM radio.
By corpses, I mean the dead people from the death panels that Obama brought to this country. Yeah. My voice is not going to last if I keep trying to do Alex fucking Jones
and Rob Zombie. Yeah, don't do that.
Anyway, Sherry Moon has taken Rainn Wilson inside, and we get a long shot of her butt.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. Meanwhile, everyone else tow trucks back to the house. But we get like straight up the crack, like butt.
Oh yeah, because she's like barely wearing her pants.
Yeah, they're falling down, which like been there. You know, when you do some plumbing. That was her job. That was her actor's secret, is that she was a plumber.
There's a lot of clogs here at the House of 1000 Corpses.
It's more like a crackter's secret. Am I right? I do love that Rainn Wilson points up at the moose mounted on the wall and is like, wow, he had to go pretty fast to smash through that wall.
It did make me laugh.
It made me laugh really hard. Just picturing it. It was great.
I mean, I like Rainn Wilson in this movie. Like, until he dies, it's a horror comedy, and I'm sort of here for it.
Yeah. It was really weird when they put his severed hand in Jell-O.
Not a stapler.
Yeah, no. Anyway, but this is where we get the B-roll footage. And it's like a supercut of Sherry Moon naked with skeletons and stuff. Do you want to burn a fun fact right now?
Yes, burn, baby, burn.
Disco Inferno! So there have been multiple cuts of this movie. One very, very long, and then the one that was originally submitted to the studio that was 105 minutes.
Okay.
The theatrical cut, which is what we watched today, is 89 minutes.
Yeah.
The 105-minute cut is very, very difficult to find. Some believe that most of that footage is lost forever.
Okay.
Included in a lot of that footage were additions to these scenes. Most of these were shot after principal photography and then added into the film to kind of serve as transitions. But this one in particular had to be cut down significantly since it originally featured, and again, simulated acting,
Sure.
not for real, but simulated.
Sure.
Sherry Moon masturbating to climax with that skeleton. And
Okay.
basically, yeah, like full necrophilia.
Didn't love hearing that, so I'm glad they cut that out of the movie.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And I hear she giggled the whole time too, like,
It's definitely clear that Sherry Moon used to be a dolphin. I would never believe her.
That she wasn't a dolphin? Oh,
No.
you wouldn't believe that she had come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Because you're not a skeleton. I mean, you're a skinny titty baby bitch, but you're not a skeleton.
I did not expect to be insulted when I started this line of dialogue with you. But I see how you got
You're like,
there,
I
and
already went to
respect it.
Taco Bell, so I'm too full. I can't go to Taco Bell again.
I did go to Taco Bell for lunch today. That is a fact. I had one of those steak cheese burrito things.
First, you take some steak, rice, then you take some jack cheese, roll it in a pizza. You got cheesy blasters. It's late recording energy. There's nothing we can do about
Nope.
it. It's here. Blowing in like a mist. It's here.
Like Dr. Satan's tree mist. Dr. Satan's tree mist. My favorite flavor of Yankee Candle.
What does that smell like?
Candles to yank to. Dr. Satan's Yankee Candles.
It smells like a weeping willow and a tire fire.
Which is just a tire fire, right? Like, nobody knows what a weeping willow smells like.
Maybe to you, you fucking cretin, but I have a complicated sense of smell.
You fucking uncultured goblin.
Yes.
Because I think tires burning smells bad? Yeah.
All red wines taste the same. Jesus, Todd.
I wouldn't know. I've never had any alcohol ever.
They mostly taste the same. I think it's mostly bullshit. But, yeah. Anyway, everyone else arrives at the house. Great. Everyone's in the house. Hooray. And the girls are kind of like, can we find a phone? Because, like, this house smells like fucking corpses and is terrifying.
Yeah, it's
so,
like there might be over 999 corpses in this house.
Take one down, pass it around. 998
corpses in
Oh.
I made a music joke.
Okay, anyway, so they don't have a phone, but we meet her mom, who is troubling for many reasons. Not the least of which, her, like, popcorn butter colored teeth.
Why'd you have to use something so delicious to describe something so disgusting?
I've seen people with bad teeth. I've never seen people with teeth that color. I was like, did you exclusively eat pea Jell-O or, like, only Fritos for like 20 years?
That family only eats fried chicken.
Yeah. But for a second page, when you described it, I was like, damn, I want to eat those teeth.
Jesus Christ.
Who's your dentist, Orville Redenbacher?
Yeah.
He wasn't licensed to do that. He's not a doctor like most podiatrists.
There are some podiatrists now that aren't. I can't follow the bit anymore. I'm confused.
We can't get into this. It's too complicated. They don't want you to know the truth. They want to keep their boots on your necks because feet are in boots and they're podiatrists.
Yeah.
Wait, Mikey, do you think chiropractors are doctors?
That's
I
different.
know they're not doctors.
Okay. I just wanted to know if you were like hardcore, yes, they are, but podiatrists aren't.
No. But also, I think podiatrist goes into like, if they're on an airplane, you're like, is there a doctor that can help us? And like the podiatrist says, I'd be like, okay.
But they have to have like basic stuff.
Thanks for the good attitude.
Like they probably have first aid care. Like
I don't need me to have a heart attack and some stranger sucking on my toes or whatever they're going to do when I fall down.
I don't think a podiatrist would suck on your toes professionally.
to the tune of Staying Alive. All right, you're gonna suck 15 times and then lick twice. All right.
Remember that, lady.
And compression on the pressure points of the foot.
Mikey, if you're ever with a podiatrist, you'll never go back.
Yeah, because you won't be able to walk after somebody stick their foot up in you like that. You're gonna feel that.
Who would see me if someone broke a foot off in my ass? A podiatrist or a proctologist?
It would be a combination.
I think it would be a joint effort.
Yeah.
Dr. Satan and Dr. Sun Don't Shine would show up.
Dr. Satan just being creepy over here like, oh, I'm somewhat of a proctologist myself.
You know those shirts that are like female body inspector? He just has one that says amateur proctologist.
Exactly.
Just rooting around in there. Anyway, so the girls want to call. There is no phone. And they're like, besides, you got to stay for dinner. And I was like, God damn it. Is this going to be like, my brain always says TCM Turner Classic Movies. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where we have to sit through people screaming at a dining table for 20 minutes.
I don't want to sit through family Thanksgiving again. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did like the masks.
The masks are fun.
They are kind of fun. I do like that they have to wear them for dessert.
Yeah.
Like not all of dinner, just for dessert.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you like have a mask, it scares away the calories.
If that was true. I've never seen a mask in my life. What kind of mask would you wear if you could pick any mask to wear for dessert?
Do they have like a Night of the Creeps era Tom Atkins mask? Because that's
good
what I would
choice.
want to wear.
I'd wear a Todd mask so people would finally see him eat more than one bite of dessert.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I can put down on some dessert, baby.
Well, 3 bites. Oh, wow.
We do have a bakery close to our house that has like these really awesome Oreo cheesecake jars.
Ooh.
And I'll buy one and eat on it for like 3 days because it's like one spoonful is like enough because it's so rich. So good though.
So we're going to force him to eat dessert at Flappers, right? We're just going to like shove cookies.
Is that what it is? Is that it's too rich to eat because you're still mad about your childhood?
I was not expecting to be insulted when I started this line of dialogue.
That's the second, Mikey, when you were on the phone, I got him so good and you missed it.
Looks like I took a page.
Out of Paige's book.
Anyway, so they wear the masks. And we do get some cuts upstairs to where Otis has the cheerleaders and they are mostly dead.
Yeah. I mean, eventually he comes down to dinner.
Yeah. Well, and Baby's up there too.
And everyone's excited that Otis comes down because he's had a mental block about murdering, I guess.
I don't know. But they get Grandpa and Grandpa is, because after dinner, he's like, it's showtime. And then we just get the weirdest open mic I've ever seen.
Yeah, like it becomes like I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you're a kid growing up and like you as a family will put on skits.
Yep.
Like it's that kind of vibe.
Okay, is this movie just the rated R version of Nothing But Trouble?
It's better than Nothing But Trouble though. But yeah, it's a lot like it.
It is better. Yeah.
Nothing But Trouble we should do. I mean, it's a terrible movie, but it would be fun to do.
Anyway, Grandpa does his tight 5 on eating pussy, which is something I never needed.
Yeah, I did not need it either.
When my friend Crystal Adams, who has been on this show on our lovely Blackula episode, she and I had a game that we used to play when we would go to open mics when we were baby comics. And it was, we would listen to somebody's terrible set and then walk outside and try to redo their terrible set as a more famous comedian. And so we would try to do like Jim Gaffigan or like John Mulaney. And I feel like if I was in the audience, I would have been doing the same, where I'd be like, everybody's talking about eating your wife's pussy. She walked up to me and she's like, there's no people who eat pussy in New York. And I'm like, I know one. Like that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, that would be
funny.
John Mulaney's version, right?
Of eating pussy. Jim Gaffigan would be like, ate your wife's pussy, but I think she's still using it. Or whatever. Anyway, it's real upsetting. And he's like, it's going to wake up grandma. And I was like, wait, is she there? Is she the one getting her pussy ate? Because, if so, good for you, grandma. But also, these people have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe around them, and they may be eating it for dessert, and I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I also don't like when Sherry Moon comes out, and then they turn on the spotlight they just have in their house.
It's just having their house, and she clearly runs that light, too. I'm like, you had a tight 3, bitch. Hurry it up.
With her Betty Boop impression.
Yes. Which, to be fair, she's been doing the entire movie. Exactly.
That's not really what Betty Boop sounds like, though.
It is more the aunt from Sleepaway Camp energy, I think.
Yeah.
A whole bag.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, doop. Anyway, it's real upsetting. And if you look, there's a whole audience. And I was like, are those dead bodies in the audience?
I know, right? And it's not just Dwight and Chris Angel or Hardwick or whatever, and the 2 girls, right? It's like a whole whatever. But the second I'm at someone's house for dinner and they're like, hey, let's just do a show, and they start bringing out a spotlight, I'm probably going to leave.
Unless it's my family. You'd stay for that shit.
I would definitely stay because I'm a member of the family.
But if there were 100 to 150 corpses there, I wouldn't stay.
Yeah, the smell.
You have to light the Dr. Satan's hanging tree candle to mask the smell.
Well, what is that? Bodies? No, burning tires. We updated the
And
scent.
willow. And lavender.
And willow. Oh, and lavender now. Is there a tire fire in here? It's so realistic. Anyway, the girls have kind of had enough because Sherry Moon Zombie sits on Dwight's lap and is just like, his girlfriend is like, I'm not having it. And then she's like, I'll cut your tits off, bitch. And I was like, this is the most authentic acting she's ever done.
It escalates very quickly.
Yeah, her actor's secret is she's always angry. It's wild. Anyway, but at this point, the car is done. It's been fixed. And so her mom's like, hey, the car's done. Let him go. And she's just like, okay, fine. Fine, mama. And they leave. And as they go out into the car, she and her mom are just like,
Yeah, it's odd.
I was like, oh, foreshadowing, I see. This is way to bury the lead in terrifying laughter. So they try to drive. They can't get the gate open. It seems like there's a bunch of Halloween decorations and bodies that are clearly real bodies. And 2 guys jumped down where they were just people pretending to be decorations.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool.
It is.
Like Abercrombie and Fitch, those people who stood in the front of the store.
Oh, like the models?
But if those people wanted to kill you.
Yeah.
They did.
Anyway, they beat Rainn Wilson, Bill? Whatever his name is in this movie.
Rainn Wilson, yeah.
They beat him nearly to death. And they throw Chris Hardwick across the windshield. And it's RJ it's Tiny and Otis.
Who is a huge hulking figure. Tiny's a big dude.
Yeah. With some sort of facial disfigurement.
Yes. Yeah.
And at this point, I checked the time on the movie and I was like, so there's 50 minutes left of what? What could possibly take that long?
Transitions.
Yeah, there are a lot of transitions that take a long time. We know 30 seconds is just waiting for him to shoot Walton Goggins.
R.I.P. Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. So we cut to the next day. That one girl who kept trying to call her dad, he immediately reports her missing because he's like, she was supposed to be at home at 9 and she's nowhere.
Yeah.
So he sends the sheriff out. We cut to the house. And she's tied up with a dunce cap. And I was like, this is a weird visual.
It's like they went to Dick's Last Resort and she wanted to order food. And for that, she was given a dunce hat.
Everything Otis does to set up these killings or these torturings seems like a performance art project that we just don't get.
It honestly feels like something Ted Nugent would have done on the stage in 1984.
Like vote for Reagan?
God damn it. If I wasn't drinking, I'd have lost my mind. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Anyway, it's kind of like the whole background is all drawn and she's framed on a stool where I was like, this is actually really cool looking. It looks like the beginning of a Papa Roach video or something, but
You got so close. A Rob Zombie video.
I know, but Clearly, this is a Rob Zombie video, so I can't hat on a hat like the dunce cap she's wearing.
Cut co-eds into pieces. This is my house of corpse.
Yes! Decapitation, no breathing.
I don't give a fuck what my grandpa's eating. Damn, Tiny can rap. Sorry.
I was not looking forward to this episode when I found out that this is what we were going to do, and I'm so glad we did it.
Hell yeah,
I'm
man.
having a good time.
Like, the thing I've learned, and I think what makes this podcast so special, is that I just fucking love talking to you guys.
Aww.
I would talk to you guys about podiatry and how it's not a real job and how we have to expose them. Right, Mikey?
The podiatrists aren't real. The COVID happened so we can replace their batteries.
The podiatry industry does consider me a heel.
Can you smell what my foot is cooking? Austin feet 16.
I'd give you podiatry. Podiatry out there, I would give you the people's elbow, but you wouldn't understand.
I'm going to give you the people's ankle, Mikey. That's the elbow of the foot, I guess. Sort of makes sense.
The knee is obviously the elbow of the foot, Todd.
No, it's not. That's in your leg, you idiot.
How far up did they study? Because the ankle's pretty far up there.
That's definitely part of the foot. Guys, welcome to the all-important segment of the show. Where does the foot start? I don't think Paige has taken a breath in 6 minutes.
Where does the foot
Paige is
start?
Googling it. Hashtag where does the foot start?
Toes. It's more about where the foot ends.
Is the ankle part?
Okay, so that's a very fair question. Does the foot start at the toes and then it goes up to just past the ankle, which is where I'm saying it is where the foot starts?
It says it is what connects the leg to the foot.
Which is the ankle. I think Todd's right.
Yeah, so I should have revealed this. I'm a podiatrist. I just don't go by doctor.
Betrayal!
I just don't go by doctor because I feel like we don't deserve it. No, I mean, they're absolutely doctors, Mikey. And I am not a podiatrist. I don't even like fucking feet.
I put out the foot content. I don't consume it.
Right.
That's true. You do send us pictures of your feet shockingly often.
My favorite one was the one that Instagram wouldn't let him post when he was doing little baby kicks in his pool.
The slow motion.
They were like, you got to charge for this shit, bitch.
Yeah.
They're like, do you want to monetize? Can I put it up now without any context? It's letting me this time.
Oh, Mikey, we're watching currently Mikey's slow motion foot video, and it is
it's way
so
more sensual than I
sexual.
remember.
It's like slow motion water coming out of a hose that's filling up his pool, but like it's hitting his feet that are like together in an arch sort of fashion.
They're going in and out of the waves.
No, they're not. They're making a foot-gina
Yes.
for the water hose to spray through very sexually. I'm just saying, Mikey, that is the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life. That you just posted to Instagram, you nerd.
I didn't post it.
Post it. I want to see what the comments.
Post it.
Peer pressure.
I'm not gonna post that right now.
Damn
But
it.
now that I know that I can.
One day, you guys will get to see the vitamin water picture and the foot-gina picture.
I came across the vitamin water picture the other day, just going through my phone, and I almost just sent it to you guys for memories.
Wait, you have it?
As I do. And I have the edited versions of it where I put things over it.
Hell yeah. Did we release the edited one where you put things over it?
I don't know. We may have.
Maybe. I did a really giant box over it at one point.
I don't remember stuff. That's all I got to say about that.
Like podiatry and whether they're doctors or not.
They're definitely doctors.
They
I don't
are
even know what
doctors.
is this happening.
Where do I take my temperature between my toes? I hate this.
Oh my God. Other people have questioned this.
Of course they have.
Yes, there's a podiatric medical board, doctors of podiatric medicine. Why do all podiatrists call them doctors? Because podiatrists are doctors.
Allegedly.
Good. I can't fucking.
No, we're looking it up. It is. They are doctors.
That's what big government wants you to
That's
think.
what Bigfoot wants you to believe, Paige. And listen, I'm going to ask you to Sasquatch this beef that you have.
Look, this little piggy went to market. This little piggy went to Congress. And this little piggy went straight to the top to get the truth.
The ankle?
The ankle. Yes, the top of the foot.
Hashtag where does the foot start?
Where does the foot start?
Where does the foot start?
Dr. Satan would be a great DJ name.
But he only plays jock jams. Dr. Satan is the only DJ that's only just like dun, 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 yeah, dun, 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 dun. Just with a pitchfork, like yes.
Yo, if I ever get married again, I'm gonna have DJ Satan DJ that wedding party. You know what I'm saying?
You know who I found out as a DJ? I went to go raid Tess Holliday's closet, and she was like, "I'm going to see Pauly D DJ tonight," and I was just like, "What?" Like Pauly D from Jersey Shore is a DJ, and she was like, "Yeah, he's pretty good, actually." I was like, "Really?" And then she had videos, and it seemed like it was good.
Awesome.
Pauly D, like Poe D, like podiatrist. Follow the money.
Ankle.
9/11.
That's how many toes you have. 9 plus 11. That's 20. You have 20 toes. No, wait.
You heard it here, folks. Paige has declared humans have 20 toes. It is the dumbest thing she has ever said on this podcast, and I want this to be highlighted in the episode text. Thank you.
I do want to point out it's 7:30 where she is. It's not that late. It's not you have 20 toes late.
What you guys do?
Oh, you guys don't have like centipede feet?
She lost 10 of the toes in the tower.
Robert Pattinson stole 10 of her toes.
Oh God. I can't.
I can't believe you said he had 20 toes.
She said it like with authority too.
Yeah. That's the best
In my brain, I was like 11 and 9. Like if you move the one to the other, it'd be 10. And then I was like, yeah, 10 on each side, 22.
Oh my God.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever said.
That doesn't come anywhere close to the dumbest thing Mikey or I have ever said on this podcast.
No, it doesn't. Not even this episode.
I've got like baleen down there. Got so many toes.
I actually think you'd be a worse swimmer, Paige.
Oh, well, that's why you're not a podiatrist.
You'd be the best ballerina that ever existed.
She just centipedes across the floor.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She floats with grace because her 20 toes take her across the stage. She looks like she's floating. What would you guys think about 20 Toes production?
For our company name?
I still like hell for breakfast. Oh, wait. Dr. Satan, MD.
I like how it ends with MD. Like, he's that kind of insecure that he has to be like, Dr. Satan. Oh, and it's an MD at the end.
Dr. Satan, PhD, MD. Oh, all right.
Okay.
Come back in.
This episode's a mess, and I have no idea how I'm going to make an episode out of it.
A house of 20,000 toes.
Stop. Okay, we got to move on. Paige can barely talk.
I can barely talk. I'm so sorry. So they're tied up and having flashbacks, right?
Yes.
And Otis is like talking to her about like the blood is forever. And she's like, please tell me Billy is okay. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. He's okay. I turned him into a fish, man. And I was like, what? Why? Where'd you get the bottom part? Like, what is this?
They call that a man-made.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like to think that this is the genesis of what's the one from Cabin in the Woods? Merman?
Yes.
Yeah. When we get one last line of Rainn Wilson saying he's scared of getting on the scales. Because he's a fish.
Because he's a fish. We get a cut to one of those cutaways shot in 16 where he's on like a BDSM style cross, like the X one, and
it's an X cross, not a religious cross.
Right.
It's a tweet. Yeah.
It's a zeet, Mikey. They're called zeets now.
Oh no, I hate that.
That's not how you verbally say that, is it?
Yes.
He also named his kid Aeon Flux or some shit.
It's
so like probably
X-E-E-T, Mikey. The best part of all of this is that Microsoft owns X as a social media platform, so they're suing him already. Elon Musk is the dumbest rich kid ever.
Honestly, he's seeming real stupid these days, like even more than normal. Anyway.
It was the hair plug surgery.
That's why he's got a lot of harebrained ideas.
Well, that's what he gets for going to a podiatrist for that.
I'm sorry. I have a question about what you think podiatrists do to feet. Do you think they put hair on the top of the foot? Also, could they get rid of it? Because I have a friend, quote unquote, who has a lot of hair on his feet.
That's where they harvest the hair from, is his toe knuckle.
Todd, your feet are so bad that if podiatry had a Grey's Anatomy, you would be a whole episode.
Hey, if I got to date Sandra Oh for my story arc, I'd be willing to put in for it.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. I didn't realize you were an O-man.
I think she's an amazing actress. I think she's really good.
Mm-hmm. They'd be like cutting into Todd's foot. They'd be like, someone put a bomb in this foot. And then the ER blows up and 3 of the cast members die.
Is insane, yeah. And they'd be like, get the podiatrist in here. I don't know if it's his jurisdiction. Where's the foot start?
My dad was a world famous podiatrist. I don't know if I can do this. We've lost another coworker.
They just pull back the sheet and they're like, good God, I've never seen so many toes in my entire life.
This is just as bad as the woman with 20 toes that came in last week.
Anyway, they do it to the tune of Brick House. They torture Rainn Wilson and eventually kill him on that cross. And the laughing, the whole time. But what really made me laugh in this scene, because the effects are not great, Otis picks up what is clearly a rubber axe and goes to like chop at Rainn Wilson's hand with it, and it bounces off.
Yeah, it does.
And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. It was so funny. It was just like, where'd you get that? Fisher Price? Like, what is happening?
Oh, my headcanon was Rainn Wilson was a superhero, but only his wrist was had superpowers. He had like an invincible wrist, so he's kind of worthless.
Yeah, that is pretty worthless.
What if we all had like really shitty superpowers that just like never come up? What if like I could beat up any penguin? Like that's a superpower. I'm never gonna have to like.
Are you doubting that right now, as a full-grown adult, you couldn't beat up any penguin?
I guess that would be a superpower that's like not so super, but still.
How big do you think penguins are?
Are they not 6-7 feet tall?
No.
I'm joking, Paige.
They're not Mario 64 level penguins.
I've seen penguins at the San Diego Zoo many times. They're adorable, and it's lucky for them they're behind glass because I literally can't lose a fight to them.
But like that's everyone's superpower, I guess.
That is a superpower I think maybe all adults share. Yes. My point being, like, what if we all had superpowers that sucked and just never come up?
Well, that.
It's called a comedic premise. Play with it.
He did play it.
I know.
Like, I would say, like, you have the ability to, like, grow your hair long, like, on command.
Okay, like Bayonetta.
Yeah, like
Bayonetta.
It's some video game Jake plays with big titty girls that fight people with hair. That's a real and giant rectangle swords.
But he plays it for the articles, Paige.
He plays it for the articles. Hey, I got big titties. Whenever I see him playing big titty stuff, I'm like, yes, consistency.
I mean, he's clearly into it.
Yeah, I was thinking like the movie Mystery Men, where one of the guys can be invisible, but only when no one's looking.
Yeah, like that.
And another one has the power of ultimate bowling, but she has to use the bowling ball that encases her father's skull. He was Carmine the bowler.
She had the most useful of the powers.
She did, because that ball would kill the shit out of people. But honestly, being invisible when no one's looking was the funniest power for me.
It was funny.
Because he's like, I can just feel it. I can feel when I go invisible.
20 toes would be one.
Why? So I could play endless games of This Piggy? I have like 3 seasons of This Piggy Went to Market on one foot.
But think of the OnlyFans page.
Oh, God. It's like if AI designed a WikiFeet page. Just too many toes.
Mine would be like, I can turn on an ability to repel all mosquitoes.
Oh, no, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, you're like a Centronella candle. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to smell like...
But it also smells like a tire fire.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can all beat up penguins, though. That's good to know.
I would do something I never dream of. Beat up a penguin.
I've never dreamt of beating up a penguin. I swear.
No, that's
lie.
really that's more Mikey's territory. Mikey thinks he could beat up every animal.
Not every animal, but definitely every penguin that has existed. Like one-on-one, I think I could beat up every species of penguin.
Mikey in the square and circle versus a penguin. No holds barred. Chairs, ladders, cages.
Call me Batman because this penguin's getting a beat down.
That's what he says at the weigh-in. I got my hair like straight up, like what's that guy's name? What's the boxer?
Don King. Don King.
Yeah. And I'm like, Mikey's gonna take him.
Dun, 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 dun. But then it's just a penguin running up the steps like Rocky, and at the end he swallows a couple of fish and he's like, yes.
But then he slides down it on his belly. This is my favorite episode of the podcast so far.
God, we an hour ago we were like, we got to get back, and then for the last hour we've just been saying nonsense.
Yeah.
That's my superpower.
Anyway, have fun with that, Todd. So we cut to Captain Spaulding's, where the sheriffs have shown up, and it's some sheriff guy and then Uncle Baby Billy.
Walton Goggins, yeah.
But they go to interview Captain Spaulding, who's wearing his wonderful Pigs is Beautiful shirt.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I've seen those kids, and I drew them a map and sent them on their way. Because what we don't know is that Captain Spaulding is in on it, so he just draws maps, and they're waiting for those people.
Yeah, he sort of sends them into the lake that they're fishing in, if you will.
Right. And he's like, oh, they were asking about that Dr. Satan bullshit. I was like, it did indeed sound like bullshit, so sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they go out there and we get like a cut in of a section where a guy is talking about like, that thing had impure relations with my wife, and then she's holding up a picture and it's like a Bigfoot drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is Skunk Ape. Is what that is. It has a name.
Okay.
And one of the things that got cut was like an entire Skunk Ape side quest story.
Really?
Yes. And this is all that remains in the final cut.
Wild. Okay.
I want a Skunk Ape movie.
As I'm looking at the credits, there is an actress billed as Skunk Ape wife, an actor billed as Skunk Ape husband. Like there's multiple skunk apes.
Those are the two that we hear in this little interview.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But I mean, like they were credited in this movie. So they probably shot a few scenes.
Yeah. They shot a bunch of stuff. And I mean, where's his movie, right?
I don't know.
R.I.P. Skunk Ape.
I'm starting to think that maybe Rob Zombie's not good at naming things.
I disagree fully.
On the contrary, Skunk Ape Productions, I think, maybe.
I need a hard name generator on a website.
Dr. Satan and Skunk Ape. They're two morning DJs. That's who that is. You're on the drive time with Dr. Satan and Skunk Ape.
Satan!
It's time to call someone with roses.
Traffic's awful. It's like a tire fire out here.
Oh, that smells like my cologne.
Oh, God. Anyway, we cut to the other girl. I didn't remember the girls' names. We don't really hear them that much, but she wakes up.
I don't think the movie remembered the girls' names.
Yeah. Well, she wakes up in Tiny's room, painted kind of clowny and tied to a bed, which is real upsetting. But Tiny does untie her to eat a box of Agatha Crispies.
I thought that shit was hilarious, Paige.
And he's wearing a shirt that says cheap ass Halloween costume. Love that too. I love everything about it.
Tiny's the best.
Yeah.
In my mind, he was who was singing the Papa Roach parody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, he unties her. and she tries to run away. But Otis catches her. He's like, where the fuck you gonna go? And he puts her in a cage with the other cheerleaders who it looks like eat her, but they don't because she's still around later. So she's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we cut to Walton Goggins and the other sheriff, and they found the car and it's beat to shit. And so they're like, okay, I think we found them. We just have to kind of figure out where they are from this car. We're going to start talking to farms around here. Meanwhile, Chris Hardwick is trying to get free, and Sherry Moon Zombie is just like, no! And then like slices off a bunch of his head with a straight razor.
Yeah, she starts cutting his hair with a straight razor, and then she starts like cutting his scalp off from like the middle of it forward.
Yeah, and she doesn't do all of it because we see him later and he's still got chunks of his scalp. But
yeah,
anyway.
It really is just like that top forward section of his hair.
Yeah, she gets bad head.
Oh God, that's such terrible. We're bad. Anyway, they open the trunk of that car and there's a lady in there that says trick or treat. And it's one of the cheerleaders that they've been looking for.
Yeah.
Now we cut back to the house and they're watching The Munsters, and Grandpa's like, let me behind the wheel of that truck. I'll show you how driving it. And he just like cussing at the television. I'm like, why is Grandpa? Like, I don't know.
Why is Grandpa full stop? Like, that's all you need to ask.
But no one asks, how is Grandpa?
Back in my day, girls had 20 toes. So anyway, they are planning something for all the bodies. We just don't know what it is yet. But as they're planning, they get interrupted by the cops who show up at their farm because they know that they're in a section called Deadwood, which I thought was kind of fun. And Walton Goggins just like, God damn it, why don't they have a fucking yard sale around here? I was like, you're right, baby Billy. They don't need all that trash. Anyway, so the cops show up at the door. And he's like, hi, I want to ask you some questions. And she's like, oh, I haven't seen her. He's like, no, can I come in and ask you some questions? And what she should have said is, where's your fucking warrant? But instead she lets him in.
Yeah. Well, because they're going to kill them. Like they know. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's talking to him, kind of flirting with him. And as she's doing that, the dad of one of the girls who has tagged along with them.
Yes.
And Walton Goggins go opening sheds around the property because they hear screaming. And they find like a True Detective amount of dead people in religious iconography.
It's a house of 1,000 corpses and shed of 6 corpses.
Yes. I just have Carcosa in my notes for this section. I was like, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. The reason that dad is able to come along with them is because he is a retired police officer from a like neighboring district or whatever.
Right. And they don't establish that well, but yes, that is.
It literally is like an offhand, like when they're waiting for him, like back in town.
You need this for this non-emotional payoff with your character that you don't know anything about and never learn her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But in the house, the Mama Firefly, shoots the cop. Then outside, Otis shoots the dad.
Yes.
And then pulls the gun on Baby Billy. Baby Billy, no! Baby Billy, run! But no.
And he can't, even though he was given almost 30 seconds to do anything.
Yeah.
But no, he just gets shot. Man, when they waited that long to just shoot him, I was a little bit mad, honestly. Because it's like a huge waste of time.
Yeah, it's a huge waste of time.
Like 10 seconds in a movie is a long time.
It's a long time.
This is 3 times that length.
You hear that, ladies? 3 times that length is a long time.
30 seconds.
Yeah. 2 times the normal amount of toes is a normal amount of toes.
Technically, it would be 1.5 times, but yeah.
That's how I last so long, because I look up and I count the corpses around the house.
99. I can't. Okay, anyway, yeah, it goes on forever.
To Dr. Satan's lair. Are we there yet?
Dr. Satan's, almost. We're almost there. But we have a weird detour where Sherry Moon Zombie goes to Red Hot Pussy Liquors. I think just because the name was funny.
That is the only reason it's in the movie, yes.
Because they pick up a bunch of liquor that never gets used again.
Right.
We never see it. It's not important to the plot. Nothing.
Also, why would she fuck off to like get alcohol when they are like currently in like lockdown, kill everyone on the property mode?
Yeah.
They just killed cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So clearly they didn't need liquor. They had iced tea. What? Killer. Anyway, so meanwhile, Otis is like bathing in their blood and wearing their skin. And he makes himself like a skin vest and mask out of the dad's skin, which is real fucked up.
Yeah, it's real Leatherfacey, you might say.
Sawed off Leatherface.
Yeah. I don't know. The mask didn't look bloody enough for me.
It definitely looked like a Spirit Halloween mask of just like, is that Reagan? Or like just they painted his hair? Yeah.
It looked like a low budget, like face off, like joke, honestly. Like
your face.
Yeah.
On my face. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Calm down, Castor Troy.
Never. The real life implications of this happening, like if somebody actually wore your dead parent's skin and tried to kiss you with it, is horrifying. Like,
yeah, because that's incest, Paige.
I know.
Boy. Here we go.
But also your parent is dead. Like it's that, you know,
it's bad.
It's a lot of layers. And it's one of those things where, like, if the effects were done better, this would be haunting. But because it looks very Spirit Halloween, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, I think you should have beheaded him.
No, it's deheaded. That's right. It's deheaded. Yeah. You're right.
And put the had him like do the face and like kiss him with his own head. I'm just that effect would probably look better.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, they prepare them for some weird ritual where they've got like a giant pulling machine and a coffin in the middle of the field. And this is where, here's the thing. I know that we've said a lot of weird shit before now. This is where the movie goes off the rails for me.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's bad for, like, the last 15 minutes where I'm like, where are we going with this? The pacing is weird. This is strange. But, like, the 45 minutes before that were great. So we're right at the hour mark now, and you're just like, the fuck is happening in this?
And it's about to take a very weird left turn because they lower Chris Hardwick, right?
And one of the girls. The
main
living girl. The main girl.
The final girl.
Because the other girl runs off, and Sherry Moon Zombie tackles her and stabs her to death, which whoever did the Foley on that stabbing, oof, magoo.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the best quality things in this movie.
It sounds very meaty.
Oh, yeah. Meat and bony.
Yeah.
Oof. Ugh. Anyway, they put them down in the coffin thing, and then a bunch of urukai pop out.
Literally out of, like, the muddy water that they lower the coffin down on top of. Not into.
Yeah.
It's, like, resting on top of the water.
It's definitely a Temple of Doom moment.
You see, Dr. Satan's spa treatments is, first you start with the mud bath. Yeah. And the attendants will cover you in the mud.
The coffin's just metaphoric for how you will feel like you're coming back to life after leaving Dr. Satan's spa emporium.
We're burying your dead skin by exfoliating your body.
I will burn a fun fact.
Okay.
That makes this and other pieces of the movie make slightly more sense. The quote that they play on the cassette player that they lower into the ground is a slowed down recording of Aleister Crowley saying, "Bury me in a nameless grave."
Okay.
And there are in Captain Spaulding's museum a number of pieces of Aleister Crowley's artwork, or at least prints of them, that were discovered in his home in Italy long after. If you know anything about Aleister Crowley and his time in Italy, you know that villa was disgusting. And you probably wouldn't want to smell any of that art. But the implication is that these are essentially Thelemites, which is a wild misunderstanding of the tenets of Thelema. And for me, I almost want to be like, Rob Zombie, like, come on.
Yeah.
I know if you're into Crowley and shit, you done read about this shit and you know this ain't that shit. Why is this here? But that's just me.
I would be shocked if Rob Zombie didn't know a lot about Aleister Crowley. You know what I'm saying?
Right? I feel like that'd be his jam. Yeah. I mean, he's got the artwork and shit in it.
Well, Aleister had to Crowley so Zombie could run.
Jesus.
I'm here for that, though. No, I loved it, Paige. Here for it.
Anyway, the Urukai come out of the mud and literally tear the coffin to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they put her on the Blue Piranhas team.
Yeah. But he ends up on the Silver Snakes.
Yeah.
So, like, They have to make their way through the temple separately. Anyway, so she gets accosted by dudes in a bunny suit who take her bunny suit, which is terrifyingly sexual. I'm not a fan of it.
You don't want to see furries fight, Paige.
I don't need to see the yiffing or the scritching. That's their business, and I respect their right to do it.
Oh, yeah, same.
So we get a brief cutaway of RJ just doing donuts in the cop car that they've now stolen because they killed the cops.
Yeah.
They carry the other dead girl that she stabbed through the graveyard, and they're going to build like a weird pyre while he's dressed like one of the extra members from Ghost. It's like Papa Emeritus, Dr. Satan, and Otis. She escapes down a hallway where there's just like tons of dead bodies. And this is the thousands of corpses on the wall. So
Yes.
many thousands of corpses. And she runs down a hall and enters into like a wild, like a bone church. And you're just like, what? And at this point, I was like, is this all an extreme haunted house? And she's going to pop out the end. And Captain Spaulding's going to be like, do you like the ride? And I'm going to be like, oh my God, what?
Holy shit. If like all of her friends were there at the end,
Yes.
I would have lost my mind. Like they were in on it.
I would have lost my mind.
Girl, you look so good. I'm going to take you to Bone Church.
And believe me, it's tax-free.
This body is mine and I give it to you. Oh God, what? No, sorry. That was really offensive. Anyway, she goes into this like operating room.
I just don't understand why everybody's so anti-religion saying that they're against communionism.
Anyway, she goes into the operating room. It seems like creatures from the Nightmare Before Christmas are operating on Chris Hardwick and Paco jetting his brain.
That's how you turn someone into a talk show host.
Is by Paco jetting their brain?
Ask Chloe Dykstra.
Dr.
God.
Satan is the most successful producer of the last 30 years in the talk show host world.
Turns out Dr. Satan is a brain surgeon. Anyway, so she runs away from Bane with a giant axe. And meanwhile, they have like a weird ceremony for her friend that they stabbed and burn her in effigy. She runs through the tunnel. Bane closes in. There's a really cool classic horror shot. It's very like reminiscent of Giallo films.
Yeah.
Where we get a close up of her eye and then him coming in the background. And it's the fucking coolest shot in this movie.
The split focus, yeah.
Yes.
And look at, they actually did it in lens.
They did, I think.
Yeah, which is super dope. Yeah.
Anyway, Bane takes off his mask and has gross pus coming out of his mouth. It's really disgusting. I don't know what this is or why. But she ducks.
He's got a sinus infection. He lives with 1,000 corpses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty great. But he pulls a Dennis Hopper and hits a load-bearing beam. It's exactly like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
It collapses on them. She lives. She climbs out of the wreckage, climbs out of the ground, walks up to the road. Who should pull up? It's Captain Spaulding. And if you haven't seen this movie before, you're like, oh, thank God, the murderous clown is here. And he shows up and he's like, oh, girl, they're looking for you all over. I got to get you to a doctor. I'll get you to a doctor. But what he doesn't tell her is it's Dr. Satan.
Podiatrist.
Podiatrist MD, because Otis is in the back. So they were in on it the entire time. And he goes to stab her. And
that's my
the
new
movie.
doctor. So having seen this movie, having talked about this movie, what'd you guys think of House of 1,000 Corpses?
I kind of dug the remix of Brick House with porn sounds under it. Just
I
saying.
think this house needs a once-over by the Property Brothers.
What?
I was thinking Extreme Home Makeover, but listen, I could do either. That's fine.
Gray walls, white baseboards, round things in a basket on a table.
The first thing we're going to have to do is get rid of the 1,000 corpses, guys. Welcome to our episode of Hoarders.
We've hit a bit of a snag, you guys, because if you look behind these corpses, asbestos.
It's the deadliest of the molds. No, seriously, what did you guys think of this movie?
Honestly, the first 45 minutes, I am here for it 110%.
110?
Yeah.
Yes, the last 50, I am here negative 14%.
Yeah. If Captain Spaulding is on the screen, I love this movie. If he's not, I don't like it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I saw it opening night, and I will tell you when I told my friends, that was way worse than I was expecting.
Really? I mean, I don't know. Like, this is what I expected from a first-time movie director, but someone who is like, he directed music videos and stuff before this. Like, this makes sense that it feels like this to me based on what I know about Rob Zombie. But I didn't see it back when it was in theaters because I remember everyone talking about how scary it was, and I just didn't want to see it, so I did not go.
I just think he like made a haunted house and like had Rainn Wilson go through it. It's just that's basically what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
What I really wanted was for Otis to turn out to be Mose. This has been Schroot's Beet Farm the entire time.
It could be the same location where they filmed those scenes for The Office.
That would be funny.
It's not, but it's a famous location for something else, and we'll talk about it in Fun Facts.
Well, shit.
Wow.
Paige, do you want to just get into your fun facts?
Yes.
Well, hit us with your fun facts. But
Penguin fun facts. So there's a poster for two missing boys in the movie, and those are actually childhood pictures of Rob Zombie and his brother, the lead singer of Power Man 5000.
Yes. Yeah. Another famous musician. Yeah.
Yep. Now, Rob Zombie in 2014 has said that he doesn't actually like this film.
Okay.
He says it's a calamitous mess, and all I see is flaw upon flaw upon flaw upon flaw. But again, it's his first movie.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that. Like, okay, so like all I hear when I listen to old episodes of the podcasts is just the shit I wish I had edited differently.
Yeah.
So like that's just what creatives do. That's why Rob Zombie makes better movies now, because he's very self-critical, and probably why he writes great music. You know, that's the creative people are tortured people. I'll just say that.
Yes.
By themselves. I do it to myself is what I'm saying. Paige, I'm sure you do too. Mikey, I'm not sure you've ever had a thought in your head, but if you have, it probably would be a self-critical one.
No, see, I think the opposite. I think Mikey is tortured by the animals that he can't fight.
I only want to be famous to fight animals.
You know, like how Lance Bass wanted to go to space? He just wants to like box a gorilla.
In space, guys.
In space.
Yes. Oh my God. We'll find out who would rule the planet of the apes.
Spoiler, the apes.
My spaceship just crashes in North America, and I'm just like, oh, this is
Dude, the Patreonicals are 5 minutes from now. Can we get through fun facts? Damn it. Anyway, most of the cutaway scenes were actually filmed after principal photography in Rob Zombie's basement on a 16 millimeter handheld. Honestly, I do think that gives them a really cool look.
It does.
But that's Otis's like weird manifesto that we see throughout the movie.
Yeah.
That's Sherry Moon Zombie masturbating with that fucking skeleton.
But that also makes sense that she would do that because like she was like being filmed by the guy who is her husband or was about to be her husband. So like,
right.
I mean, that is weird. Glad it wasn't in the movie, but I can sort of see that happening.
Yeah.
In your soon-to-be husband's basement.
I mean, hey, no kink shame.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do what you do, baby.
Do what you do. Filmed in 2000. This wasn't released until 2003, and there's kind of a reason for that. So this has, as I mentioned, that lost rough cut. So because of a few different scenes, specifically the one where she masturbates with the skeleton, to climax, by the way. It specified that it was to climax. The MPAA had a ton of issues, so they made them cut it down from an hour and 18 minutes to the 89-minute cut that we see today, and mostly the longer cut is lost. But additionally, there were problems with Universal, where Universal had allowed them to use the backlot. They had helped produce the film, but once they saw the cut of the film, they would not release it because they thought it would make them look bad, and they thought it would go immediately NC-17.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why it takes so long for this movie to cut out. They kind of butcher it down into a version that they can release. Now, in the DVD commentary, Rob Zombie revealed that they actually used a real axe. And the guy in the Bane mask couldn't see very well.
Oh, that's not dangerous at all.
Yeah. He said that he just assumed she would get out of the way, so they didn't warn her. So she almost got hit with a real axe. This was made into a haunted house for Halloween Horror Nights in 2010 and 2019.
I bet that took almost zero work because it pretty much just is a haunted house.
Yeah, just a bit. Dennis Fimple, the actor who played Grandpa, had heart disease during the filming of this, and a lot of this was filmed with him sitting down because he couldn't stand for long periods of time. Oh. But ultimately, he ends up dying in a car crash in 2002 before this film comes out. Now, the set that they used, because this was on the Universal Studios backlot, is the house from The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas from 1982. And it is on the Universal Studios backlot tram ride. However, during filming, Universal had so little faith in the project that they refused to stop the tram tours, which meant that they had to only film in between tram tours. Which was
nuts.
Incredibly hard to do. Now, Tobe Hooper, who made Texas Chainsaw Massacre, huge fan of this film. Understandably, right?
Yeah, it's heavily inspired by his work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a result, he offered Sherry Moon at the time, Zombie now, a supporting role in Toolbox Murders because he loved her character. She actually initially turned it down because she didn't want to become a full-time actress. She only appeared in this film because she was dating Rob Zombie, but she eventually did it as a personal favor because Tobe Hooper loved this movie and he and Rob Zombie were friends. And it's the only Rob Zombie film she's appeared in since. The only other thing she's done is a very short appearance in Californication, the series in 2007.
Yeah, okay. That's David Duchovny, by the way.
Yep. Now, of the things that are cut out of the film, so Skunk Ape, the entire subplot of Skunk Ape, there's a bunch more of the teenagers before they arrive at Captain Spaulding Station, which I don't think we need. I don't think the movie is missing it.
Yeah.
But a ton of uncut gore and death scenes. None of that stuff is ever released. However, one time the director's cut was shown in 2003 at the Argentinian Film Festival. So a lot of people know what the lost scenes are because they saw them in that version, but it's almost impossible to find them to actually watch them.
Okay.
Now, Rob Zombie is actually in this film. For a very brief moment in time.
Okay.
He originally was going to play Dr. Wolfenstein. However, he opted not to. He hired someone else to do it. But he did appear as Dr. Wolfenstein's assistant, and he can be seen in the background just smashing a pumpkin with a sledgehammer, which I think is pretty fun.
That's great.
So Karen Black played Mother Firefly in this film, but due to a salary dispute, prior to the pre-production of the next film, Devil's Rejects, she gets replaced in that movie.
Really?
Never to be included in the trilogy again.
She looked a lot like Stifler's mom.
A little bit, yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
So Otis and Baby's rants during those home movie sequences are inspired by the Manson family's home movies, which you can find clips of. And finally, I'll leave you with this, kind of as an explanation of how this movie ends up being what it is. The film script reportedly was constantly changing. In fact, halfway through production, there was a completely different ending. At one point, Grandpa Hugo was going to be revealed as the Mad Doctor, but in the rough cut, he wasn't even called Dr. Satan. They just called him the Mad Doctor and gave him an actual name. They, I think, had to scrap some of that because of the heart disease, where they just couldn't film all of it.
Because he couldn't stand up, really?
He couldn't stand up. But ultimately, they just changed and kind of cobbled together what they had. There is a really interesting oral history on Rob Zombie's work in general that Page 7 did as part of their pop history. I highly recommend listening to it.
Okay.
But if memory serves from the last time I listened to that, there were budgetary concerns too, where they didn't, it was his first movie. He didn't know how to budget out a movie. And so they got like 3/4 of the way through the movie and they're like, yeah, you're out of money. And so they just kind of had to like do whatever they could do to finish it, which also explains why like the first 45 to 50 minutes of this are phenomenal. And then like the rest of it makes no sense.
And then half of the rest of it was filmed later in Rob Zombie's basement.
Exactly. Yeah. And those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for this fun facts page. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for House of a Thousand Corpses and I'm going to say 2000 because that's when they filmed it. It didn't come out until later, and we'll talk about that when we talk about performance. But how much do you think it cost to make this movie in the year 2000?
I think they did this for $1 million.
Okay.
I'm going to say 5.
Mikey, you're way closer. It was actually $7 million.
Yikes, it is not on the screen.
Yeah. So if you adjust that for inflation, that's roughly $12.4 million today. Now, again, that was because it was filmed in 2000. It didn't come out until 2003, like Paige was saying. It came out on April 11th, 2003. It was 7th in the box office. It was beat by Anger Management. Phone Booth was number 2. Number 3 was What a Girl Wants. Number 4 was Bringing Down the House. And number 5 was A Man Apart. And then, of course, Head of State was 6, and then House of a Thousand Corpses was 7. What do you think it made in its opening weekend on April 11th, 2003?
I'm going to say 2 million. I think this ends up being more popular than anyone anticipated in theaters.
I say 10.
Okay, it was 7th, but Paige, you're closer. It was $3.4 million in its opening weekend, which isn't bad for a movie that's in 7th place. That's pretty respectable. It was never above 7 in the ranks. It fell to 9th in its second week and then out of the top 10 for the rest of the time it was in theaters. But it was in theaters for 12 weeks. And at most, it was in 847 theaters, which at this time, there was probably 2,500 to 3,000 screens that you could be on in the U.S. at the time. So this did not get it got a nationwide release, but not a huge release, right? So what do you think it made in its box office run domestically?
I think domestically, this is going to top out around 12 million.
Okay.
I'm going to say 20.
Paige was almost right on. It was $12.6 million. Domestically, it made 4.3 internationally for a total of just over $17 million. And if you adjust that for inflation, that would be $28.1 million today. But again, in 2003, when it came out, it was $17 million at the box office. Against 7, or a budget of 7, that's not bad. I bet it made a little bit of money. I mean, they made sequels, so they have to have been at least pleased with its results.
Yeah, and I don't think they marketed it too much either. So there wasn't a ton of marketing budget either.
Yeah, but that is your box office. So, Mikey, do you want to hit him with that scary scale?
Our scary scale listeners, a scale of 1 to 10, how scary we found the film. Our 1 example is Ghostbusters. Our 10 example is the real Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Paige.
This is going to be a 1 for me, dog.
Todd.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay. I'm going to also give it a 1.
Okay.
And that's our scary scale.
All right. Well, this week, the listeners made us watch House of a Thousand Corpses. What is our new theme for next month? And what's the first movie we're doing for that theme?
Next month, we have underwater horror. So
Dun, dun,
we're coming back to,
dun.
we have a franchise that we've neglected for a little while, and we're coming back to it. It's Jaws 4, The Revenge.
Oh my God. I'm so excited after watching Jaws 3 and how bonkers that movie was. I hope this continues a very bonkers trend.
Yes.
Wait, this is the one with Michael Caine, right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, your homework for next week is to watch Jaws, or as Mikey likes to call it, his third favorite Jaws movie. But make sure you watch number 4, not number 3.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be confused now.
With Jaws 3, we did that last summer.
I know. And it was a great episode. So, Mikey, do you have a review for us to read?
Yes.
Well, whose review are you going to read this week?
Ginger Toad.
Well, what does Ginger Toad have to say?
And that's the best podcast ever, ... And I'm going to start it already.
Oh, yeah, please do.
It's a long one. I've already written one review, but I had to write another to say that I absolutely love the deep dive you guys go into the meanings, depth of my favorite genre of movies. As a nurse, I love to hear Mikey's viewpoints as he adds to the discussions. As someone with PTSD, I appreciate Todd's input on trauma as a different side of it from Mikey's mental health provider input.
Okay.
Paige is so funny and Paige is so funny and insightful as well.
Thank you.
I used to just watch all movies for entertainment value and never looked much deeper into things. But through your podcast, I now have a more insightful way to view movies in general, as well as a better appreciation of the cinematography and as well as a better appreciation of the cinematography and purposefulness of choices made in the direction of movies.
He's only ever read that word, but never aloud.
That's a good sentence, man.
Yeah.
But also, are you listening to our podcast?
I know, right? Like this podcast review sounds better thought out than our podcast.
I have a few favorite podcasts, but Horror Version has become my number one favorite.
Oh, thank you.
I started at the beginning and have been almost constantly listening and enjoying each and every episode. I do have to say that this thruppling is absolutely perfection.
Agreed.
The heart and humor meld perfectly to make it feel like hanging out with friends, Thank you guys for putting on a top-notch podcast that keeps me interested and engaged each and every episode. 5 stars.
Well, Ginger Toad, thank you so much for that awesome 5-star review. And if you want to have Mikey read your review, leave us a 5-star review. So, guys, if you like this show but want to hear this power throuple on another movie review show about romance and romantic comedies, check out Romancing the Pod, where Mikey, Paige, and I break down and make fun of romantic movies. It's a lot of fun, guys. Check it out. If you want to follow us on social, please do. We are at Horror Virgin or online at horrorvirgin.com. If you want to follow us all individually, you can do that as well. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Twitter or Rampage Wesley everywhere else, including TikTok. Mikey is at mrandolph24 and I am at Todd J. Awesome. If you like the show so much and you want to help financially support it, please do by going to patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where you can get a lot of great levels and a lot of great stuff like bonus episodes, director's cut episodes where they're a little bit longer and you get them actually a day earlier than the regular feed drop. We do a lot of great things like listener requests and stuff like that. So guys, check out the Patreon and help support the show.
If you want to financially support me, but not Todd, just look me up on Venmo.
If you can't financially support the show, that's understandable. That's fine. But if you want to hang out with us on the daily, join the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/horrorvirgin. We also link it like once a week, so just find it there and join the awesome Facebook group. Literally, we're in there talking every day. It's awesome. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027. So send us some stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out our Twitch stream, we're at twitch.tv/Todd Awesome, where we will be playing horror video games. So if you have always wondered what it would be like to watch me get scared, you can now do that on Twitch while I play these horror games. It's twitch.tv/Todd Awesome, guys. Check it out. It's a lot of fun for you. Not a lot of fun for me. This episode was brought to you by Tia, and Tia's teenager has been driving her crazy. So how has Tia's teenager been driving her crazy this week?
She keeps laughing like this.
That would drive me crazy.
Not cool.
I don't know how certain rock stars put up with it. But Tia, I'm so sorry you have to put up with it. This episode also brought to you by Jonathan, and Jonathan wants me to make you guys watch some videos. So I'm going to steal your screens and make you watch that video right now. Can you guys see my screen?
Screen theft is a crime.
You wouldn't steal a constable's helmet.
Oh my God. We both went to the same place. It's so fucking funny. You wouldn't steal a screen. All right. So here is the TikTok that Jonathan wants us to watch.
Oh, it is a spider video.
Oh, he sent us another spider video. It's a Porsche spider.
Porsche spider.
Oh, it doesn't use a web. It ventures out.
And they dance.
What? Is this narrated by David Attenborough? Like, I love this. I don't love spiders, though. Like, I don't like looking at it. Oh, no, I don't like spiders that jump.
Porsche looks animatronic.
Have you ever seen a spider jump like that, like IRL? No.
Yes, there was a jumping spider in our Airbnb in Japan, and thankfully my fellow comic took care of it.
Portia's a spider-eating spider.
A cannibal.
If you will. That's why Portia's so hot, right, Paige? Because
yeah,
it's a cannibal.
It's the cannibalism that truly makes them hot. It's something about the ingesting of other people.
I don't know if that is medically accurate, but I am not a podiatrist. So, Jonathan, thank you so much for that awesome video and for your support. We appreciate it. We now return you to another episode of the Patreonicals.
All right, back in the land of make-believe, or whatever the fuck I'm calling this thing now.
I think it's Fairy Tale Land.
Fairy Tale Land. Most of the people are off to find the damsel in distress, Vixen Avery.
Nice.
Who has been kidnapped by...
Sexcalibur Bones a lot?
No, Sexcalibur Bones a lot is a talking sword, which, you know, I'm not stuck with, but whatever. They find her tied up in a tree with a bunch of apples around her.
Okay.
And River Moon, the evil witch, is like, these apples will give you all of your desires.
This feels very Garden of Eden.
It's supposed to be Snow White.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
But spoilers, I guess, now.
Way to ruin it, Todd.
Well, unlike you guys, I've actually been to the Garden of Eden in Jackson County, Missouri. Thank you very much. That's where Mormons think the Garden of Eden is. If you don't get that joke, sorry.
I do know. I'm aware. Missouri.
It's because that's where they were at the... Never mind. You know what? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. Cult leader's gonna cult.
Yep.
Speaking of cult leaders, Mikey, please continue reading us your gospel as it is dictated directly from the creator.
So they come upon Vixen Avery. She's tied up.
Is that a phone or a gold plate?
It's both. A gold-plated flip phone.
Actually, his notes app is gold-ish looking.
I've only got 3% left, so we got to get through.
We got to wrap it up, guys.
We got to wrap it up. I'm tired. If the phone dies, I'm going to leave people out. And you know what?
Can't do that.
I love leaving people out of stuff, so it's fine. But mostly children.
And your best friend, Todd.
Ooh, we are business associates.
All right, let's finish the Patreonicals, though. Like,
Okay.
seriously.
Okay, well, now that you guys are done talking, I'll do it. I'm gonna lecture me about that. All right, so Vixen Avery's tied up in a castle made of candy, and the witch River Moon is there.
Is River Moon like a chocolatier? Is that why? Is she like a Willy Wonka type figure? I'm just trying to figure out why it's candy.
It's Hansel and Gretel. Stop spoiling all of this
yeah,
shit for everybody.
sorry.
Okay, so Jesus, there's a big fire going and a stove. The whole place is made of candy. Anyway, James Avery the Knight, James Airy, talks to his Excalibur, his sword, and was like, hey, what's up? What should we do? And he's like, pull something out of Jay's pack. This is a magical pack.
Why'd he say it so sexually?
Because he's a Sexcalibur.
I guess that makes sense.
God.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right.
Sunzi, who is an annoying Tin Man, he pulls out a giant axe to cut down the candy walls.
Hell
and
yeah.
so he starts doing that, and he's useful for once, and that's like great for everybody, I guess.
I love how like subtly mean you are towards some of the characters in the story. Not all, but some.
A Patreonical with 22 or 25 or whatever the fuck this is going is with only good guys.
It's hard. You crush it week after week.
Yeah, Isaac the Black Knight draws his sword and goes through the hole that Sunzi made in. Kate floats through with her telekinesis and is also eating gumdrops off the wall. Wes, the handsome dude, has come in his horse and he's like, oh, I would like this candy castle for myself. Conquer it. Dreskel with his Iron Man suit just flies over the wall and starts bombing the shit out of the place.
Hell yeah.
Jeremy with the laser eyes melts some of the stuff, but it just turns into s'mores. Delicious s'mores.
I love it.
Lauren the cave person.
I also think it's interesting you call them s'mores.
Because I speak the proper English.
Is it not just s'mores?
I always say s'mores, but it's a regional thing, and I think technically both are correct.
Okay, interesting.
Lauren, the cave person, starts trying candy, which they've never had before because they're a cave person. So they're really on cloud nine and in a sugar high. And then
all next episode of the Patreonicals, the cave person's just going to be like crashed from the sugar high. So they're going to be asleep all next episode.
Yes. Back at Fairyland Castle, where Queen Libby has like, okay, everybody, we just got this in. Madeline the Jester, come over here. We're getting a ton of candy in because we've liberated the candy castle and we're going to take some of it apart. Go on. What are we going to do? Let's do it. Glinda the Good Witch comes and she's like, we should use the candy tables for the ball, which I think we're planning as their B-side story.
I think we were planning a ball. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Allie the Mermaid is like, yes, I have never been able to eat candy because it usually melts in salt water.
That's fair, actually. Yeah, no, I get that.
Boise the Florida Man is like, I wish I was out there with them fighting. And then Allie like shushes him with her finger on his lips.
But it's like the end of her tail. She's just like, shh.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's hot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Rage Bomb is like doing fireworks inside. He's so excited about they're going to get candy. And he's like, I want Almond Joys. And they're like, it's only old people candy. So it's a lot of peanut brittle.
It's
so
like Werther's Originals, peanut brittle.
The strawberry ones.
Oh, yeah. Those are the worst.
Yeah. Anyway, cut to Isaac and, cut to Karun and Natasha having really weird rubbing butts together, blue alien sex.
That's how they do it, though.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, we need to find a wishing well to wish our planet back to life here in Fairy Tale Land, which kind of mixes the space theme and the fairies theme. And we don't know if that's going to work. So find out next week, I guess.
So I guess I'll have to find out next week if mixing space and a fairy tale story would work on another episode of The Patreonicals.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ooky spooky.
Yeah.
Have a great week.
Bye. Hashtag where does the foot start?
Where does it start?